Are you ready to embark on a journey of exploration and unlock the magic of your wonder? There is so much more in the universe than we have been shown. It is time to ask those questions, dissolve those barriers, and embrace your extraordinary life. Here is your fellow explorer in the realm of curiosity and discovery, with almost 20 years of inviting people to embrace the greatness of them, Donnielle Carter.
Welcome, my friends. I have a question for you. So what if the very thing you're holding on to is what's blocking what's trying to arrive? Excuse me? Yeah. Sometimes the most powerful way forward is to allow something to end. Welcome to the Exploration of Wonder with me, your hosted fellow explorer, Donnielle Carter. I'm a nationally board certified health and wellness coach, intuitive empowerment coach, and basically your cheerleader, helping you to create the life that you actually desire and get excited to wake up to every day. All right. So today we're talking about create a life that inspires you to live it every day. Today we're talking about letting something end to begin. And let me tell you right now, this is not one of those shows who it's like, burn your life to the ground. Just everything, just end it, dump it. There's more strategic ways to do it. And as you always know, there's always energy to look at, okay? So it's not about drama. It's not about loss or failure or even heartbreak. This is something about more subtle and yet far more powerful, okay? So let me ask you that question again. What if the very thing you're holding on to is what's blocking what's trying to arrive? The universe has so much in store for us, and yet how often is I've asked for this and it hasn't showed up? Well, what if something's in the way? You know, I started my energetic journey, or my journey with energy, 20 years ago. I mean, don't get me wrong, we've all been working with energy our entire lives. We really have been. But let me just say, 20 years ago, I started acknowledging the energy that is all around. And one of the first questions I was ever asked in a class was, what if there's energetic blocks stopping what you desire or not allowing you to shift and change? And I went, what? What do you mean energetic blocks? Well, first let me talk about a little bit about the energy. Okay, energy is the thing that's all around us. We like to talk about, oh, it's the energy, it's the energy, it's the energy. But what is the energy? Well, quantum physics is that quantum field that's all around us that connects us. Metaphysics, it's quantum physics also, but also that oneness, that consciousness. But basically, there's an energetic field that surrounds us all, that connects us all. And we pick up the thoughts, feelings, emotions. We pick up on frequencies, vibrations. You know, the way I like to explain it, this is the energetic field that, have you ever noticed you can walk into your house at the end of the day and go, ooh, someone's mad or something bad happened. This is all the energy communicating to you, giving you information from other people, bodies, planets, number of things. But it's this energy all around us. Okay, so what does that have to do with blocks? Well, because we're massive creators and a little bit insane, we can create solid places in our universe, because most of the time that energetic universe is in a state of motion and flow. Our universe is in a state of motion and flow. And so when we take a judgment, a solid point of view, you know, what I mean by that is this is the way it has to look, and it can only look like this, and there's only one acceptable answer. Dun, 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 right? Yay. As I'm saying that, you can even perceive the energy. A lot of you will go, ugh, ugh. Exactly. Because what we're doing is we're standing in that flow of energy and trying to create a solid mass. Because the only way to keep something contracted like a judgment or a point of view into place is we have to slow down the universe around us. Sounds like fun, right? No. Sounds easy, right? No. We actually use more energy to keep those solid places in our universe than to allow the motion and flow. Because here's the thing. So many people think that if they're in motion, they're going to be overwhelmed. They're going to be knocked over. They are going to be drowned, like if you're standing in a river. And as the river goes around, you're like, I can't balance. I'm just stuck and trapped. And what if I fall over? Or what if it goes over my head? But what if that flow of the universe is actually the nurturing, and the flow invites your universe to constantly refresh, okay? Because that's what it's doing. The universe is not something, the motion and flow of the universe is not something to knock us over. It's actually moving to and through us. Because that's where a lot of people misunderstand this part, is they think, well, if the universe is going around me, it's going to have an effect and it's going to knock me over. That's what people misunderstand. The universe is not going around. It's not like going towards this mic and then moving around. The universe actually goes to and through you. You're a part of the universe. You are a part of that energy. Your body is a part of that energy. So everything goes to and through you. So it's not knocking you over. It's actually refreshing and nurturing you as you go through. Excuse me. So why am I taking so much time talking about that, of like, you thought we were going to talk about ending things? Well, we have to understand that when we hold on to, right? Because remember that question, what if the very thing you're holding on to is what blocking what's trying to arrive? And then I introduced the idea of those solid places, energetic blocks. Well, this is what it is. It's like that if we take a point of view, we're inhibiting that motion and flow of the universe to and through. We take a judgment. We hold on to something dynamically. We, in essence, create a dam. Not like, well, dam, but a dam, like a stoppage. A solid place in our universe that keeps it from flowing to you. And in essence, you're asking the universe to break around and go somewhere else. Break around as in like, like move around you. And so as the universe is going, hey, I got this great thing you asked for. Guess what? It's coming. We're going to go, but you know what? As much as this other thing sucks, it's here. I know how to survive it. I'm just going to hold it tight and solid. And then the universe goes, all right, I had something, but never mind. Okay. And we're going to go into this because, you know me, with my shows, I always have tips and tricks. So those are coming. But I want to give you a little bit more information about how the flow of the universe is like that and what we do. And we create these energetic solid places to create those blocks, those stoppages, those dams, and not in the good way dams, but in the dams like stop the flow. Okay. We're taught to cling. We're taught to preserve, we're taught to fix, and we're taught to make things last. And I don't mean like, oh my gosh, this cake is so good, I'm going to make it last for like 3 days kind of last, because then it's a whole like, sensation and numminess and like, oh, if I keep it going longer, pleasure's going to last longer. That's deferred pleasure. It's another topic. Anyways. But we're taught to keep a hold of things. And remember, and I've talked about in so many shows, go check them out, about how the brain, thing inside your head here, people like to call the brain lazy. But what it is like if you already have a neural pathway created, the brain doesn't want to expend the extra energy to create a new neural pathway. Because the brain's primary purpose is to keep your body functioning. Shocking news, I know, right? But the brain's primary function is to keep your body functioning. And so as much as our universe requires new stimuli, sometimes the brain, and therefore us, we go, ugh, I know what this is. Never mind. And we hold on to it. Okay. Whether we like it or not, whether it actually fulfills a need or not, we're going, ugh, I know what this is. I know how to survive it. I'm good. And the universe is like, okay. Because here's the thing. The universe and the earth works in cycles. Seasons, tides, inhale, exhale, creation, there's a word, creation, and the movement and flow, okay? But how often are endings the part that we resist the most? And I'll tell a little bit on myself here, me, okay? And what's interesting is, a lot of these shows I've been like, oh, I've been there through that. That's why I'm talking about it. And for me, this ending thing has shown up in many different ways. For me, one of the ways of this ending has shown up of like, if there's ever a favorite TV series, I will put off watching the last season or the last episode for a while. Because then it ends and I'll be sad. Or I'll start writing a book and I'll never finish it. Anybody else do anything like that? Yeah. So this avoiding the end shows up many different ways, okay? And how many of us have actually misidentified the end as death? And I'm talking about the energy of it, not like, oh, if I finish this book, I'm going to die. That's not what I'm talking about. But a lot of people have that misidentification of that energy. They think that every time something ends, that it's death, or it's a failure, or that it was a mistake, or that you have to justify why it should not be in your life anymore, to choose something else. And what's interesting is we innately be people who change, who choose different, who look around us and go, hey, what's that? If I put that with that, what gets created? Right? So we innately be people who are always curious, always wondering, hence the exploration of wonder, because it is our natural state to go, hey, what else? Right? But what's interesting is somewhere we've adopted this avoiding the end. Or if something ends, we have to say, oh, it's good that it's leaving because it was wrong. How many things have you had to make wrong so you could make another choice when your innate being is just choosing something different or choosing again, right? So this is what we're exploring today. And it's not something to force, it's not something to rush, but it's an invitation. What if something could end without drama, without bloodshed, without vilification, without wrongness, without judgment, and give you space to help something new come in? Okay? Because that's what this is all about. And a lot of people, like, I've heard so many people on this topic, and I've explored with people on this, and what's interesting is a lot of people will tell you, you have to let something end because you're full, and you have to, like, no two things can occupy the same space at the same time, so you have to, like, move that out of the way so something else could come in. To me, that just brings in that state of like, oh, well, we can be overwhelmed. Or I am full and I cannot handle anymore. That automatically puts us into scarcity. It automatically tells you, you have enough. And these are the blocks, these are the amounts. And if you want anything different, or if you want anything more, you have to make something wrong. You have to judge something. There has to be bloodshed. You have to vilify it so that it will leave, so that something new can come in. I've never met a universe that was enough. There are those days when you're like, I am overstimulated. New topic. But like, look at it with money. Why would you ever stop receiving money? Why would you ever stop receiving kindness? Tell me when you've had enough kindness. I've had enough. I don't need any more kindness today. Why not? There's always more kindness. So there's always more possibility in your universe as well. All right, my friends, we're going to go to our first commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to start talking about a little bit more about why the endings feel so hard and so dramatic. Okay. And while we're at break, feel free to go to my website, Donnielle.com, and check out Body Bit Chat. It's a free daily email I do every day, Monday through Friday, of a tidbit of information from your body. And I've been doing it over 4 years now, and it's such an honor because it's not from me. I literally have on the logo, translated by Donnielle, because I literally will sit there and hear the whispers of bodies and then have the communication sent to you in an email. So do check it out. It's called Body Bit Chat. You go to my website, Donnielle.com. All right, my friends, you are watching or listening to The Exploration of Wonder with me, your host and fellow explorer, Donnielle Carter, and we're on Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back.
Ever feel like there's more to life than meets the eye? A sense of wonder just beyond your grasp? Are you ready to create a life that inspires you so much that each day you are excited to wake up and live it? Join Donnielle Carter, a nationally board-certified health and wellness coach, weekly as she explores the universe on the exploration of wonder. Explore everything from harnessing the power of your mindset to connecting with your intuition and harnessing the energetic forces around us. With a blend of humor, warmth, directness, and a dash of cheekiness, Donnielle shares easy-to-use, pragmatic, yet magical techniques you can implement immediately to infuse your life with wonder. Join us as we navigate the fascinating landscapes of the seen and unseen, and together create lives filled with joy, purpose, and boundless possibility.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Exploration of Wonder with your guide, Donnielle. To participate in this program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to hello@donnielle.com. Now back to the exploration.
Welcome back, my friends, to the Exploration of Wonder. I am so excited you're here, whether you're watching or listening. I appreciate you taking the time for you, really. Because, as hosts, we always like to say, hey, thanks for listening. And yeah, thanks for listening, but also thanks for taking the time for yourself. Because we don't listen to these shows or watch these shows because, well, I guess we could be doing it for others, but really, you're taking time for yourself. Most of us are on exploration of self-exploration, self-wonder, self-creation. So thank you for taking the time for yourself today and joining me. So why do endings feel so hard? Because today we're talking about ending to begin. And this isn't dramatic. And it also isn't you have to make space for other things to come in. No. Your universe is vast. You can have, be, and receive so much. Yet somewhere we've been taught that your universe is full. So to make room for something else, you have to get rid of something. Nah. You can move things around, but there's always enough room. So that's not what we're talking about today. What I'm talking about today is like those moments where we know something should be over. We know something should go away. And yet we hold on. Why? Why do they feel so hard? Okay? Because, how often do we associate endings with failure, loss, rejection? Giving up is a big one. Oh my gosh. Or getting it wrong. And getting it wrong is that place where people go, well, if I choose something different, it means that last choice was wrong. No, it's just another choice. Okay. But here's the thing, energetically, endings are not collapse. They could be completion. They could be chapters, which I actually have I have a vinyl. I think it's on my stairs. I can't remember where it is right now. And it says the next chapter is this way. And I got it from Doctor Who because I'm a big nerd. And but what if they're just chapters of your life in the book of your life, right? So it could be a relationship that no longer fits, job-wise or romantic, a role you've outgrown, savior, family clown, who knows, or a version of yourself that is no longer fitting. It's no longer you. How I have seen and facilitated and had so many clients who would stop the evolution of themselves because they fit into a version that other people recognized, and they're like, well, I can't change because then I'll be alone. Most people have more people in their life after they make a change, okay? And then a big one, like some of the endings, it could be a dream that no longer served you, no longer excites you. And this is kind of a fun one to explore too, because so many people think, oh, well, the dream I have now has to be the dream forever. You know, I'm doing a lot of coaching and facilitating people in their weight loss journey. And one of my initial sessions with them, I'm like, okay, so what's your why? Why are you choosing to lose weight and do this? And then I always say, okay, cool. This is your why today. Please know it's going to evolve. Same theory. Just because the why is what gets you started doesn't mean it's the why that keeps you going. And if we're not looking at this like, oh, that why helped me start, but now that's over. What's the next why? What's the evolution? Because really, this not willing to end things is about denying the evolution of yourself, of your universe, of your creations, of your life. Okay? So, here's something I've really noticed over the years. Most people don't resist endings because they're sad, right? I'm not talking about that conversation you want to avoid, yes. But it's not because they're sad. We resist endings because we're familiar with the energy. It's those pathways again. It's those neural pathways, those energetic pathways. We attach ourselves to that familiar feeling, even if it's a sucky feeling. How many relationships have you not left because you're like, well, I know how to exist here? Something could get worse. I've seen that so many people, whether it's a job, relationship, or even a version of themselves. It's like, I know how to be me here, so I'm not going to shift and change it. Because what if it's worse? I'm only a little bit of a bitch. What if I become a bigger bitch? Maybe that's what the world is asking for. What if the bigger bitch is somebody actually who just, stands up for themselves and stands up for the world and creates something different? Should be on a t-shirt. The world's asking me to be this much of a bitch. I bet that would sell. Anyway, sometimes people don't. They resist change. Sorry. Welcome to my head. Pull up a chaise lounge. It's a fun place to be sometimes. So as I was saying, sometimes they resist the change because the discomfort of the unknown. It's a good thing I don't talk for a living, right? Excuse me. Sometimes the discomfort of the unknown feels of a greater discomfort than the current known energy. I know that's a lot of words. Just basically, it's like you get familiar in the uncomfortable. And anything new is a greater uncomfortability, okay? Or they're afraid of letting go. The next one is because they're afraid of letting go because they think something didn't work. That's that failure, rejection, that made a mistake, right? But what if it's just simply about it worked long enough? It's that why. It's like with my clients, it's the why that gets you started, but it's not the why that keeps you going, okay? And what's interesting is there is a cost of holding on. And it's not my space is full, but it's like, let me ask you, where in your life are you staying? Not because it's alive or it works for you, but because it's familiar. I forget who the famous person is that said familiarity is the death of creation. They're not wrong. Even if that creation is our lives. I have seen so many people go, I got this because I know how to do this. Okay? We hold on to roles that no longer fit, relationships we have outgrown. Again, whether it's romantic, job, familial, friends. I can't tell you the number of people who like, I hate my friends. Then get new ones. Oh, but I know these people. You deserve a different life, my friend. Okay. Habits that once helped us survive. A lot of PTSD people have this, right? Dreams that were true for a past version of ourselves, or like I said, jobs that no longer nurture us. Okay, but none of these things are wrong. I say every show, every class I ever do, I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to get you to judge you. We're just having a conversation so you get clarity of what you actually desire. Okay? So you have to be willing to look at this stuff. What in your life are you staying just because it's familiar, not because it actually works for you? And here's the pisser of the whole situation, as I like to put it. And it went away. That's so funny. Oh, I remember. We know. Here's the pisser of the whole situation is as I ask you things, it's like, what in your life are you staying in because it's familiar, not because it works for you? How many of you went, yeah, I know. A lot of you. Or how many of you went, I don't know. Because you do know. You do know. And where have you made that a wrongness to end that? And where have you decided that ending it means the drama, the bloodshed, the negativity, that it was a mistake to ever do it or choose it? No. I'm working with a client right now who's leaving a high influence group that she's been in for like 15 years. And she wants to make the past 15 years wrong. I'm like, no. Did you get anything out of it? She's like, yeah, a few things. I'm like, okay, cool. Focus on that and then keep moving. Make another choice. You don't have to vilify it all to be able to leave. I always say, leave with gratitude. Leave with gratitude creates space for you and for your tomorrows. But if you leave in judgment or anger or hatred, you're collapsing your universe. So when you leave with gratitude, you create space for your future. Okay? So are you holding on to roles that no longer fit, relationships you've emotionally outgrown, beliefs that we use to protect us? Okay? You are not the same as you were yesterday. So none of these are wrong. Like I said, this is never about it getting you it's never about judging you or getting you to judge yourself, okay? But when we energetically hold on to letting them go, we delay change, we block arrival, not because our universe is full, quote unquote, but because we've rejected the inflow of the energy, okay? So finally getting to the part of this, like, it's not because your universe is full. It's not like, oh, I have to get rid of this so something else can come in. Like, make room. No. If you're holding on to something that no longer serves you, you are rejecting the inflow of the new. So it's not about space, it's about the possibility. Okay? When you don't acknowledge the energy of done, you just reject you reject the creation of something new. You reject the creation of what's being asked to create. You reject the creation of what you're asking to create. Okay? So we're going to go on our next little break, and when we come back, we're going to get into the tips and tricks for ease with ending to begin, okay? And if you are liking this show, which I hope you are, and if you've listened this far, I hope you are, and if you're getting something out of it, and if you feel that other people should listen, please find me on your favorite platform, iTunes, something like that, Apple Music, and look for the Exploration of Wonder. And do consider giving a rating and a comment. And hey, if you want to give a 5-star rating, that would be great. And please know these are not for my ego. It's for the algorithm. We love our algorithms. So if the more 5-star ratings I get, the more that it tells the algorithm, hey, other people should listen to this. So if you feel, hey, other people should listen to this, please do consider doing that during the commercial break. But do come on back, because we're having 15 tips, or however many I get out, of how to end to begin without drama, without trauma, without upset, and without bloodshed. All right, my friends, you're listening or watching the Exploration of Wonder with your host and fellow explorer, me, Donnielle Carter, on the Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
Ever feel like there's more to life than meets the eye? A sense of wonder just beyond your grasp? Are you ready to create a life that inspires you so much that each day you are excited to wake up and live it? Join Donnielle Carter, a nationally board-certified health and wellness coach, weekly as she explores the universe on the Exploration of Wonder. Explore everything from harnessing the power of your mindset to connecting with your intuition and harnessing the energetic forces around us. With a blend of humor, warmth, directness, and a dash of cheekiness, Donnielle shares easy-to-use, pragmatic, yet magical techniques you can implement immediately to infuse your life with wonder. Join us as we navigate the fascinating landscapes of the seen and unseen, and together create lives filled with joy, purpose, and boundless possibility.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Exploration of Wonder with your guide, Donnielle. To participate in this program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to hello@donnielle.com. Now back to the exploration.
Welcome back, my friends, to the Exploration of Wonder. I'm your host and fellow explorer, Donnielle. And when I say fellow explorer, I mean it. These are things that I've been through a lot in my life as well, and a lot that I've worked through with clients, which, if you want to have a private one-on-one chat with me, please do go to my website, donnielle.com, and look up sessions. It's time for us to have a little chat and see what we can shift and create in your universe. All right. So, we've been talking about ending to begin, okay? And I hope I've made it clear that it's not about making room so something else can come in. It's just not stopping what's coming in by holding on so tight to what no longer serves us, okay? So here we go. Tips and tricks for ending to begin without drama, upset, or bloodshed. I've watched a lot of zombie movies, so, bloodshed. All right. So please know, these are most of these are about the awareness of it, okay? This isn't a to-do list, it's an awareness, okay? A little like doorways for you to walk through when life is whispering, it might be time, okay? So first tip is notice what feels complete. Notice what feels done. Okay, completion doesn't have to look dramatic. I'm done with you. That's great on the stage, but in your life, it doesn't always work. Okay, and sometimes these can be very subtle. How many of us just wait for the energy to be so loud that we can no longer deny it? But sometimes it feels like lack of curiosity, lack of excitement, boredom, or heaviness. It's often the sense of I'm done here shows up at like, you know what, I don't want to do this. And it's not, I don't want to do this because I'm feeling lazy today. It's just really that deep-seated soul, I don't want to do this. That's when you know. And you don't have to make it wrong. It served its purpose. It got you to today. Please recognize that all of these things got you to who you are today. And who you are today is pretty amazing. Okay? So if something feels neutral instead of excites you, it's time to begin the next chapter. Okay? And in that, the next tip is honor what served you. I've already said it many times. Endings does not mean you failed. Endings does not mean it was a mistake. It means something worked, even if you don't like the outcome. How many relationships have you gotten in and went, damn, but you learned something? How many choices have you made and went, oh, I could have chosen something different? Yeah. Don't focus on the negativity. That's what happens with so many of my clients is when they want to shift and change things. They go, oh, it doesn't work because of this, and this. And I'm like, okay, but what did work? And they're like, are you telling me I should stay? I'm like, no. But if you only focus on what doesn't work, you're actually pulling that energy more into your life. And so in the evolution of growth, focusing on what did work, even if it's just the awareness, will get you further faster in the evolution of yourself. Okay? So it's those dreaded, what lesson is this? Which, by the way, I hate that. What lesson is this? But it is like, I rephrase it, and I'm like, what was the awareness? What did I become aware of? Like, I always talk about, like, the light bulb, right? Of, like, did Einstein, I know he didn't create it, give me a break, but anyway, did Einstein, on the 1000th time he created the light bulb, he found one that worked? They're like, oh, so you failed 999 times? He's like, no, I found 999 ways of not creating a light bulb. So it's like, it's always about what it contributed to you. Okay, so honor what served you. That's kind of that go with gratitude that I talk about. Okay. And gratitude completes energy faster than regret ever will. Amen. Okay. Gratitude, man. If in doubt, gratitude it out. Because really, gratitude is the key to so much, my friends. If I haven't done a show just on, I think I have done a show on gratitude. If not, I will. If I have, look it up. All right. Tip number 3. Release without vilifying. I know we love this one. I know we love to vilify. We love to vilify the people we're leaving, the job we're leaving, the relationship, or the version of ourselves. We love to vilify to leave. But if you have to vilify to leave, it's telling the universe and yourself a number of things. And one of those is that it was a mistake, that you can't trust yourself, that you have to make something go away to have room for something else to come in, so I'm going to vilify it. No. One of the biggest misunderstandings in the universe is that we can make another choice for something even if what we're choosing away from isn't wrong. This is a big topic. Maybe I'll do a show on how to choose. I don't think I've done that one yet. Stay tuned. But we do this like, oh, well, if it's working, I can't choose something different. Sure you can. Sure you can. It is one of the biggest lies we've ever been taught, that if it's working for us, if it's quote unquote right, then stay. Don't move. Don't change. Why? Why? Because there's scarcity? Because we've reached the ultimate No. Okay? So we've been taught that to make another choice, which, as I've said earlier in the show, we are inherently people and beings who choose again and again and again. We can change our mind. We can change our universe. We go with the motion and flow. We're always refreshing. But somewhere along the way, we went, nope, if you get it right, stop, don't change, don't go. You can only change it if it's wrong. You can only change it if it's horrible, if it's bad. How much of our universes and our lives have we created as crap so we can justify the choice that we've already wanted to make, right? So this is what I'm saying, release without vilifying. Sometimes it's just over. How would divorce be if people could actually look at each other and go, I'm so grateful for everything you've done for me, but I think we're done. And the other person would go, yeah, I think you're right. And not be like, we're now mortal enemies. No. Absolutely, there is another way with that, okay? The next tip is let yourself update. Let the who you are, your identity, I don't like that word, but let your definition of self, how you see yourself, shift and change. Okay? Because when we do try to fit ourselves into our identity, it's those places where we say, I am this, I am this, I am this. And I'm not saying like those affirmations of like, I am enough. You are enough. Absolutely. 100%. I am a daughter. But if you say I am a daughter, then it brings in that role of what you are as a daughter and what expectations. I am a wife, that kind of stuff, right? We take those kind of things on as an identity. It's a title, relationship, a role, right? It's a version of yourself. And so often we won't let things end because it threatens that identity you've defined yourself as. I worked with one client who, even though she was constantly looking at losing weight, she wouldn't let herself lose weight because the family identified her as the fat one. And there was a comfort in that. May not make sense to you, but look at it from a broad scope. She knew her place in the family. She knew how they thought of her. She knew how to interact. She knew how to survive in that familial environment because she was the fat one. Her brother was the funny one, and all that kind of stuff. They had all these identities. And so she wouldn't let herself lose weight, which is kind of an ending. Because anybody who has changed anything dynamically with their body, whether it's weight or health, knows that there is a new version of you when you shift that. So we got down to she wouldn't let herself lose weight because it threatened the identity she had really assigned herself or agreed to in her family. So, are there any changes you're refusing to make? Any endings you're allowing that you're not allowing? And are there any endings you're not allowing because it threatens the identity you've defined yourself as? That one's going to hurt. That one's going to hurt for a lot of us because we've been told, figure out who you are and stay there. When truthfully, every day we should be discovering who we are because it's going to change every day. Yet this reality says, discover who you are and stay. Good luck. It's like wearing pants that are too tight. Anybody ever wear pants that are too tight? It's not comfortable. You can't wait to take it off. But yeah, so sticking to an identity is kind of like that. Even if it's a comfortable identity, it's like, oh, I like that. I'm the funny one. Yeah, but you know what? If it no longer serves you, it no longer serves you. All right, my friends, we're going to go to our next commercial break. Can't believe we are here already. But stick around. I have a lot more tips and tricks about ending to begin. All right, my friends, you're listening or watching the Exploration of Wonder on Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
Ever feel like there's more to life than meets the eye? A sense of wonder just beyond your grasp? Are you ready to create a life that inspires you so much that each day you are excited to wake up and live it? Join Donnielle Carter, a nationally board-certified health and wellness coach, weekly as she explores the universe on the exploration of wonder. Explore everything from harnessing the power of your mindset to connecting with your intuition and harnessing the energetic forces around us. With a blend of humor, warmth, directness, and a dash of cheekiness, Donnielle shares easy-to-use, pragmatic, yet magical techniques you can implement immediately to infuse your life with wonder. Join us as we navigate the fascinating landscapes of the seen and unseen, and together create lives filled with joy, purpose, and boundless possibility. This is the Exploration of Wonder with your guide, Donnielle. To participate in this program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to hello@donnielle.com. Now back to the exploration.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Exploration of Wonder. Thank you for taking the time to spend it with me today and to spend for yourself. I just admire anybody who does that. All right, so today we're talking about tips and tricks and things and awarenesses of how to end to begin. All right, so let's dive back in. My next tip is actually one of my favorites. It's make space physically. Not just in your universe, not just the energy, but physically, okay? Energy loves energetic space as well as physical space, right? So clear a shelf, clear a drawer, organize something. It's amazing how that helps shift the energy in your universe as well. And if you want a lot, let me know. I have some shelves that need help. But no, true. It is. See how the energy of your universe shifts by shifting what is around you, okay? Anybody else be like, I have to clean my desk before I can work. Yeah, me too. All right. The next one is a big one, my friends. How do you become aware that you are refusing to let things go, refusing to get to the next chapter? Well, notice what you're defending, okay? If you're constantly explaining, justifying, or protecting, what are you avoiding ending? Okay? You could ask something like, what am I afraid of would happen if I let this end? Okay? Fear often will guard the doorway to expansion, the next chapter, the next step. Okay? And I've seen people do this so much, myself included, yes. But it's like, oh yeah, I'm with this guy, but because, he treats me really well. Because is one of those words, I have a specialty class called the energy of words, and because is one of those words that if you use it a lot, you want to look at it. Because everything after the word because in a sentence is the reason and justification for what you just said. So, like I just said, that example, oh, well, yeah, no, I'm still with Bob, but, I'm still with Bob because he treats me so well. Because it's the reason justification. So what are you defending? Okay. I'm still with the job because it gives me money. Cool. Well, if you maybe let that end, what else could come in? Okay. So what are you defending? Notice that. Allow grief without drama. What do I mean? It's that place, again, it's tied in with that vilification, and then we think everything has to shift and change. It has to be dramatic. Because we made the wrong choice. We made a mistake. No. Look at, if you have a lot of emotion around it, it mattered. At one point in time, it mattered. And let me clarify one other thing as this comes up. Just because something ends doesn't mean it stops mattering to you. Okay? That's a big one. A lot of people think like, oh, I'm moving on because it no longer matters. I never said that. I never even indicated that. Okay? If we have to define that it no longer matters to move on, then you're in that reason and justification. You're in the vilification. You're in the rejection of them, you, it. No, it can still matter and still be time to move on. Okay? So allow the grief, the evolution without the drama. It's not because you stop caring. It's just time to move on. Okay? And watch for the subtle signs. Okay? The universe can be very polite. It can be very quiet. And sometimes it really shouts. But the sooner you have this awareness, the sooner the universe and you don't conspire to make it really loud or really dynamic. It's those moments where it's like, oh, I wanted to quit the job. Yes, I got fired, but I wanted to quit anyway. No durr. You and the universe co-created that. Oh, he finally broke up with me. Good, because I've been wanting to end the relationship. Yeah, sometimes you create the drama because you're not taking the action. Okay, so here are some signs of like, it is time to move on. Repeated frustration, and not just like a daily, like they looked at you funny or it was a bad day at work. Repeated frustration. Or the universe gently closing doors. The universe can guide you going, not that way, not that way, not that way, no, not that way. Okay? And then the synchronicity of pointing somewhere else. Right? I know a client who just got a job who ignored the posting from 3 different like onboard postings, job boards, through 3 of them. She's like, no. And then finally she's like, okay, fine. Turn right around. Okay. And then sometimes people have a quiet sense of a quiet sense of something is calling. So I'm here to say, the faster you listen, the less drama afterwards. Okay. I used to date this guy. He would refuse to break up with people because, as he put it, he would just make them miserable enough that they ended it. Don't make the universe make you so miserable that you have to end it. Listen early, and there'll be less grief, less drama. Okay? And also, let me clarify, it's like there's no guilt in here. Whether it's a job, identity, a relationship, it's not about the guilt. Sometimes other people are going to be emotional about it, but that's okay. And the sooner you do it, the less emotional there's going to be. Okay. And acknowledge the timing. Sometimes you get the awareness, and it still may be a day or 2, a month before the universe says now. Okay. A lot of people make changes like this from reaction. Nope. You get the awareness, take a beat, take a moment, ask the universe, ask yourself, talk to yourself, look at possibilities, look at strategies, and then make the choice, make the move when you know it's time. Are you ready for the next chapter? Okay. Sometimes that split second decision is absolutely required. And more often than not, you're preparing the next chapter now. Because a lot of people think, okay, when I get the next chapter, the next part, then I'll start working on it. No. If you notice the story, the evolution of a story, one chapter leads into the next. It doesn't make the chapter that came before it wrong, because that chapter led you to this chapter. And this chapter that you're currently in will also lead you to the next. Okay, so don't fear ending, because the next thing that begins will be amazing, my friends. All right, everyone, thanks for exploring with me today. Check out my website, Donnielle.com, 2 N's, 2 L's. Make it a fun week, a happy week, and exploration of the new. All right, my friends, I'll talk to you soon. Have a great one. Bye.
Thank you for exploring with us today. Donnielle returns Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Mountain, 1 p.m. Pacific. Until then, be curious, be wonder, and explore the magical universe around you.